Hi guys, it's Stock Curry, and the stock market just had the worst first half of the year in over 50 years. In today's video, I'm going to recap the first half of the year, then I'm going to give you my prediction on where I see the stock market going in the second half of the year. So let's get into it! But first, I want to remind you that the stock market is closed on Monday. It is a holiday in the United States on Monday, and this is a 3-day weekend. So next week is going to be a 4-day trading week, Tuesday through Friday. The markets are closed on Monday. All right, the first half of the year is over, and this was the worst first half of the year in the market in over 50 years, mainly because of inflation. The stock market just had its worst first half of the year since 1970. And big technology stocks like Tesla, Amazon, and Microsoft just had their worst quarter in years. Tesla just had its worst quarter since 2010. Amazon just had its worst quarter since 2001. And Google just had its worst quarter since 2008. So clearly, the first half of the year was absolutely terrible for the stock market. You don't need me to tell you that. All you have to do is look at your portfolio. Unfortunately, economists are now pointing to the possibility of us actually being in a recession in the first half of the year also. Cooling consumer spending points to a further economic slowdown. And economists at S&P Global now expect that the second quarter GDP dropped by 1.5%. Now, if they're correct and second quarter GDP dropped by 1.5%, that means we will have officially had 2 quarters in a row of negative real GDP. And if that does turn out to be the case, then that means we are officially in a recession. Now, the official advanced estimate of GDP for Q2 will not come out until July 28th. So unfortunately, we still have to wait about 4 more weeks before we find out if we are in fact officially in a recession or not. But the analyst and the economist at S&P Global do think that we are in fact officially in a recession. Again, this is just an estimate. We'll have to wait about 4 weeks for the official numbers. Now, just because the stock market is down doesn't mean you have to lose money. The $1 Million Challenge portfolio is already up 118% in the first 6 months of the year. As you can see here on this chart, we started in January with $3,047.04 in the account, and we currently have $6,675.31 in the account. It is more than doubled, and I have other videos showing you that I have not deposited a single penny into this account. This is 100% organic growth, mainly due to put options, of course. But the point is, you can make money as the market goes down, and the $1 Million Challenge portfolio is already more than doubled in the first 6 months of the year. So that's a recap of the first 6 months. Now the big question is, where do we go in the next 6 months? Is it going to get worse, or is it going to get better? Well, I'm going to go through some economic news to show you where the economy will be going through Q3. As you probably guess, it's not good. But that doesn't mean that the stock market will continue to fall. In 1970, even though the first half of the year was awful, just like the first half of 2022 is, in 1970, the second half of the year, the stock market rose 27%. So it's very possible for us to have a massive bull run even as the news continues to be negative. You might recall how in 2020, the stock market tanked tremendously in March, and then in April, all of the news continued to be extremely negative. There were massive shutdowns, everybody was at home, the economy was in shambles, but the stock market went on a massive bull run starting in April of 2020. So we don't need good news for the stock market to go on a bull run. We can absolutely go on a massive bull run even as the news continues to be incredibly negative. So what I'm going to do is show you some of the news, and then I'm going to talk to you about where I personally see the stock market going in the second half of the year. Now, I do want to preface this with it's really just an estimate, basically a guess. Now, the thing about the stock market is nobody can time it perfectly, but we can absolutely recognize a season that we're in, right? So last year, I recognized we were in a season where the stock market was starting to top out, and I started to predict a bear market in 2022. Now, very specifically, I told you that I had sold almost all of my stocks last year. Well, I actually sold them in October. The market didn't top out until December. So I mistimed the market by 2 months. Then I expected a bear market in March. I expected the market to start dropping in March. It actually started dropping in January. Again, I mistimed it by 2 months. And you can go back to my videos in December and October and all those other videos last year. You can see what I was talking about. I knew we were in this season where the stock market was going to top out and start going back down. I just wasn't quite sure of the timing. So right now, I'm letting you know we're in this season where the stock market is going to start to bottom out and start going back up. But timing it exactly is really, really difficult. That said, are we in a season where we're going to keep dropping tremendously for the next year? No. We are in a season where we're nearing a bottom and we're going to start going back up. Timing is difficult, but I will give you my best guess right after we cover this economic news. Now, obviously, the stock market is going to be based upon company earnings, or at least where people expect company earnings to be. And starting with Facebook, internal Facebook memo shows that the company is very concerned about their profits. They've lost a lot of ad revenue, basically due to the Apple privacy update. They are losing a lot of its user base to TikTok. And overall, Facebook is really in trouble. So they are trying to turn things around. So far, they just haven't quite figured it out. And so Facebook stock continues to drop, and I do think this will continue to drop through Q3 of 2022. Micron also warned that weakening consumer demand is going to hurt smartphone sales. It looks like Micron may continue to go down as well, and then other smartphone manufacturers such as Samsung and Apple might get hurt as well. So again, lower consumer demand, part of the recession that we're probably in. It means that stocks will probably keep going down through Q3. Then on the travel side, American Airlines offered pilots a 17% raise in their new contract proposal. Now, this is going to cause the same problem the banks ran into, in which it's going to significantly increase the cost for the airlines. You combine that with the rising fuel prices, and it looks like American Airlines profits are going to continue to go down as well, which again will push the American Airlines stock price down, as well as probably all of the other airline stocks. And finally, on a little bit of the small cap side, Enjoy Technology filed for bankruptcy just months after it went public. And this is part of the problem that we're seeing, where these small startups are just not able to get funding. And as funding dries up and they're not profitable and they run out of cash, they end up filing for bankruptcy and they end up disappearing and they're just gone from the stock market. So this is just another example of that happening. Like I've said before, anywhere from 40 to 60% of small caps that are not profitable could end up going bankrupt before this whole thing is said and done. And we are already starting to see it. So again, just more indication that the stock market is going to go down for the next 3 months. Okay, that's all of the bad news that's pointing to the stock market going down over the next 3 months in Q3. But what about this season that we're in that shows we're near a bottom? We'll probably start going back up. Well, remember what I said earlier in the video, that the main reason the stock market went down so much in the first half of the year was due to inflation. So long as inflation can come down, that's going to turn the stock market around, cause it to do a 180. And as inflation continues to drop, the stock market should start rising. So let's take a look at where inflation is right now, and you're going to see why we are in the season where we're about to hit a bottom. Now, the Fed's preferred measure of inflation is something called the Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index. I know that's a mouthful. We'll just call it the PCE. The PCE, while it did remain high, came in at 6.3% in May, which was the same amount in April, but still down from the 6.6% in March. So this is a good sign that inflation is no longer rising if we look at the PCE. Now, just like the CPI, there is a core PCE, and the core PCE, which excludes food and energy, it only increased 4.7%, which is down from an increase of 4.9% in April. So just like the core CPI decreased month over month, the core PCE decreased month over month as well. But the biggest factor is that while the overall headline CPI increased, the overall headline PCE actually stayed the same. So this is a good indication that inflation is topping out. Not necessarily going down yet, but it is topping out, which means we probably will have seen peak inflation in May. This is a really good sign because remember, the stock market will bottom out and start going back up about 3 to 6 months after peak inflation, not earlier than 3 months. And if we got peak inflation now, then Q3 is still going to be negative. The stock market would still go down. But sometime in Q4, the stock market should rise back up. Meaning, Q4 is going to be the season that the stock market starts to rise and stops going back down. Also, on the inflation front, natural gas prices dropped 16%, posting their worst month in more than 3 years. But considering how fast they'd gone up, that's actually a really good thing. So energy costs are coming down. Gas prices at the pumps have also started to come down. This is all a very, very good sign that we're going to see lower and lower inflation numbers going forward. So all of this is pointing to the stock market bottoming out and rebounding in Q4. Now, Q4 runs from October through December of this year. So sometime between October through December, we should see the stock market bottom out and start going back up. Regarding exactly when that timing comes, I personally think it's going to happen in October. I think October is going to be the bottom, and November and December are going to be a bull run. Part of the reason is because if you look at what historically happens to the stock market in a mid-year election cycle, that's what we're currently in right now here in the United States. The stock market historically will drop through October. It will bottom out in October and then rise in November and December. Now, this is regardless of inflation, regardless of recession, regardless of anything. This is just how the stock market historically performs during a mid-year election cycle, which happens once every 4 years here in the United States. So we are setting up right on track to have the stock market bottom out in October and go up in November and December. You look at the historical from the mid-year election cycles, it points to that. You look at the fact that the stock market will historically bottom out and start going back up 3 to 6 months after peak inflation, and that lines up with that. Everything pretty much lines up for Q4 to be the bottom and a rebound here in the stock market. Now again, that's the season. We don't know the exact day. We don't know the exact month. But sometime in Q4 is when this should happen. Now, just to recap everything for you guys real fast, I want to remind you that yes, the first half of the year was terrible, but it doesn't mean that you have to lose money. You can make money. My portfolio was up 118% the first half of the year. If you want to join us and come make money while the stock market's going down, I would love to teach you how to trade options. I would love to help you make money. There are so many people in the Discord that came in with their portfolios down 60, 80%. They've been in the Discord for a few months and they are turning their portfolios around. A lot of people are already back in the green. There are some people, one person talked today, they said they just joined a few months ago. When they joined the Discord, their portfolio was down 60%, and now they're only down 10%. They have completely turned their portfolio around. So many people have actually got their portfolios into the green. They were making money. So if you want to make money with us and you want to learn how to trade options, then come join us. I will let you get in on my trading courses. I will coach you. I'll teach you. I'll train you. And I want to help you make money as the stock market goes down. If that's something that you're interested in, then you can sign up up for the VIP Discord at stockcurry.vip/getvip. That's stockcurry.vip/getvip. And right now it's on sale. It's only $20 a month. That's it. You don't have to pay hundreds or thousands of dollars for some course. $20 a month. That's all you got to pay, and you'll be into the VIP Discord. And finally, I just want to let you know that I don't know what's going to happen next year in 2023. It's way too early to predict that. It's possible that we see a massive bull run in the second half of this year, or at least in Q4 this year, and then it reverses again and goes on another major bear market in 2023. It's also possible that in 2023, the bull run that starts this year will continue onward, and we'll hit new all-time highs next year. It's really, really hard to say what's going to happen next year. All we can really predict economically wise, season wise, is what's going to happen for the next 6 months. And everything is pointing to the stock market continue to go down for the next 3 months and then rebounding and going back up in Q4. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got a lot out of it. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. And if you're on YouTube, click the bell icon and click all so that you can get notified when I release my next video. I hope you have a lot of success trading, and I will see you on Tuesday.